after, and I don't know, feel like everybody here is family, so don't be scared to like ask a question to like see what how their vision can align with yours and things like that, right? So let's give it up for Zach, and we'll start there. We'll go from there.
All right, yo, what's up, guys? Sorry, that's my catchphrase. I did tell myself a couple times to remember that this is not a stand-up routine, because I have done stand-up a couple times now. This is not stand-up. I want to just get down to business, but yeah, I'm not a professional in business, if you will, but I've been in business now like for over 10 years. So we opened in Finishers MMA opened in 2013, and my wife not too long ago was like, hey, can you, we should have a 10-year anniversary. I'm like, you know what, we should. Let's figure out when it is. I was like, oh, damn, that was 2 years ago. So we just blew right by it. I wasn't even thinking about it. So just because we're pretty much engulfed in the game nonstop, and we're always working on something. If anyone has any questions while I'm just up here blabbing, just yell out or just raise your hand or whatever. Definitely down to answer. Let's see. So today I want to talk about like social media marketing and branding type stuff. Now, I'm not an expert. Again, I never went to, well, I mean, I guess you might be able to consider me somewhat of an expert since I just did it with no actual path. I didn't have ChatGPT or anything like that to just shoot out all these cool things you can do with it now, and it's been helping me a lot, and it's making things a little bit, more streamlined than I ever could. I don't have to think as much when it comes to writing things on like Instagram, or just like if I need a rough draft, that's perfect. I used to do that a lot when I was a kid in high school. I would be like, just give me a rough draft, and I'll just make it up on my own and make it look like I wrote it. So I'm pretty good at that already. Yeah, I just kind of, I don't really know exactly how I started with it, but it was kind of like I had to do or just fail. You know what I mean? We had to, when I opened a gym, I was like, damn, I got to promote this any way I can, and I really don't care about looking stupid or just putting myself out there. I think in growing up, I think I was like a class clown, and my parents used to say that I'd either be like a lawyer or like a teacher or a stand-up comedian. So I don't know, I'm kind of like all of those mixed in somehow, because I have gotten myself out of trouble before, right? So, but first off, I think if you're, whatever you're doing, whether it's any kind of business you're owning, or, especially for martial arts, like, if you're in martial arts game, you can see most of the things that hit more than just regular, like, I could go out there and do a technique that no one's ever seen before, and it won't get that much love, but I can also, I get that right here? Yeah, I'm good now. If I do something stupid, like fall off a ladder or something like that, it'll get 1 million views. I noticed that if I do like WWE wrestling techniques on guys that aren't real, legitimate techniques, that gets the most love. They're like, yo, this guy's the man. I'm like, dude, that's not even what I'm trying to do, but it does get views. So first thing I wrote down was just the fear of looking stupid is holding you back, right? Is it, right? Because some people, especially when I talk to guys in my business, I guess, about social media, they're like, oh man, I don't know what to post. I'm like, I don't know, what do you mean? Just post anything, right? Just post anything, right? You need to get stuff up. Now, obviously, the more it pertains to whatever business you're doing and however it can push it forward, obviously the better. But sometimes you just need to post shit up and see what happens, right? If it doesn't work out, like if you're like, okay, that got no views, so what? It didn't cost you anything. That's for me the number one thing. Before I opened up Finishers, I used to train and work at Tiger Schulman's Karate. You guys ever heard of that place? Tiger Schulman's. They actually I think he opened one up somewhere in Easton over there, right? Sensei V. Tiger Schulman's has like a whole marketing thing behind him, and that's a whole other thing. But when I was a kid, he had a lot of ideas I stole off him. He used to make me dress up in the Tiger Schulman's Tiger and go out to in front of Walmart and just like mess with kids and throw kicks at people and shit like that. But you'd be surprised how many people we actually talk to, and if it's just making impressions, that's huge, right? So also too, this is another huge thing that happens with people in social media is they're like, I just wanted to edit it so bad. Now thankfully we have Quentin always filming and following us around, but he can't be there all the time. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, I'm just gonna post it. And guys will be like, well, it's not good enough, we just gotta fix it or whatever. And it's like, dude, we just need to get it done. When we moved our first gym to the second place, I always try to line it up so we have like a month or two of free rent. And the construction guys that are getting the place done are always like, well, you know, we need to fix this and we need to fix that. I'm like, brother, I need to be open next week on Monday. And they're like, well, it's going to take us another week. I'm like, no, we're opening on Monday. I don't care if it's done. He's like, it's not done. We'll get it done. And we'll start working now. Because if not, with these guys, we might still be there. They might still be working on the place and acting. Now, I want it to be perfect, but nothing's going to be perfect, right? Sometimes you can just push forward, kind of figure it out as you go. So social media, if you're thinking about posting online, I don't know what to post. I want to make sure it's perfect. Just freaking post it. Who cares? You know, sometimes Quentin makes some sick-ass video that I think is the greatest thing of all time, and it gets no views. And I found that Instagram really gives credit to people who edit their thing in Instagram. So if you use your iPhone and you take a bunch of videos and then you edit it in Instagram, for whatever reason, it gives you more love. I don't know why, right? But for me, that's how it's going, right? So yeah, we built finishers from the ground up. Started training in opened up in 2013. But I've really been training all my life. So it's not like it wasn't like a random business that I just got into. So I kind of have that advantage over a lot of people who are like, I'm going to open up a coffee shop. You know what I mean? Like I've been training since I'm 12. I don't think, was I drinking coffee back then? Maybe. I might have been. My grandparents really like coffee. I did found, like I just have a whole bunch of bullet points, so I'll just kind of like riff off those. That's what I usually do anyways. But people will follow people, not logos, right? And I found that out big time with the classes that I teach. If I'm absent from a class for more than 2-3 weeks in a row, people will stop showing up to it. And they'll start showing up to another class because they're just not kind of sure who's going to be there, right? The most consistent class that I have is Wednesday nights, and those of you guys who train with me know that advanced class could be, you know, sometimes it's 25 people in the summer. Sometimes during the winter when there ain't shit to do, it could be 40 people there. Right, but people know that no matter what, it's either going to be me or Thor or Renee or somebody else that I'm paying to teach that class, right? So do realize that it's not just like a brand that people are going to get behind. They're going to get behind you, the person, and also the atmosphere that you bring. So if like you're fun to be around, you're not a dickhead, you're not criticizing or making fun of people all the time or whatever, right? Like how people I've known in the past, you're gonna do really well, right? So whatever business it is, like, you know, Sam's business, if it's fun to come in there and they know she's gonna be there on a certain day, people are gonna come back for that all the time, right? Or repeat business or whatever it is because they know you, right? Like how many people have left, got real big in one company and left and did their own thing, and then everybody followed that one guy, you know, or that one girl, because that's, you know, they know that that's where the money is made. And I think like that, like, and me being like so open to train with everybody and having a good relationship with a lot of people in the area, I feel like that's how finishers now, like, you know, we got the branding, like you could go over logos and all that, but I feel like people, you know, it's become more than a gym. I mean, look at all you guys are here right now. People are running businesses out of the gym, right? People are making money. Every time I work, the tournament works, the gym works, everybody who works for me works, you know, so it's become like a, you know, its own thing now that people are just doing their own thing. I don't even know what the hell's going on half of the time, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like always busting the guys' chops. Please let me know, did this guy sign up? What happened? Sometimes it goes days, which is good because, you know, the place didn't burn down, but it'll go days when I haven't heard anything when I'm on vacation. I'm like, yo, are we still good? We still in business? And they're like, yo, it's fine. So I think if I quit and I wanted to shut it down, I think people would just keep showing up and the business would just keep going. So I really appreciate that from all the guys. And when it comes to social media too specifically, not just business, but I failed a lot of times. Like a lot of the strategies we've come up with obviously didn't work out, but you just got to keep throwing stuff at the wall. I don't know what's going to work. That's how trends start. People try stuff, all of a sudden one thing picks up, next you know it becomes huge. I want to tell this story about Alan Belcher because I have gotten some haters, and people have said, like, because I put myself so much out there on social media, they're like, he's trying to be the, what was Steve Jobs of, this doesn't even make sense, but the Steve Jobs of jiu-jitsu or something like that. Like they're just saying that I'm like basically selling out to do social media, and I don't really care by doing social media, but I really don't care about that. I've gone to any of you guys, I mean I know Santi has, Renee has, but any of you guys have gone to like big business meetings, like big like conferences? Have any of you guys done that in your field? Right, so I flew down to, I spent my own money, it was like, cost like $1,500, but, and the seminars were free, but I went to Biloxi, Mississippi. You guys ever heard of Alan Belcher? He was a UFC fighter back in the day. Now he's like a millionaire, but he didn't make his millions off fighting in UFC because a lot of times you don't get paid that much fighting in UFC unless you become like Conor McGregor or one of the best guys. The way he made his money was by having 3 gyms, but also being like the guy in that area. So when me and my old partner were flying down in Mississippi, I was sitting in the airplane, and the guy was looking at my partner's ears, and he had like really like his ear, one ear looked like this. He's like, you guys MMA guys or wrestlers? I'm like, yeah, we are actually. You know what I mean? Sometimes people say that. I don't have ears like that, but he did, so they'll call him out. I'm like, yeah, we are. And he's like, he's like, well, are you going down to see Alan? I'm like, oh, you guys know Alan Belcher? And he was like, well, everybody from Mississippi knows Alan. And I'll never forget him saying that. And then when I went, and the thing was at a casino, literally everybody knows Alan Belcher in that whole area. You could go anywhere. He's on billboards selling cars. He's doing social media. He's running gyms. He owned a coffee shop. He owned an acai place. He owned a laundromat. He just started stacking all kinds of random businesses till the fact that everybody knew him. Some guy on a plane was like, I was like, you watch UFC? He's like, no. I'm like, how do you know him? He's like, my friend's somebody you knew, trained at the gym or whatever. So I'll never forget that. In the area, I want to be like that too. I'm actually running for local politics, and I think I won because 4 people ran, and only 4 people, there were 4 spots open, so I'm automatically going to win, which is nice. So I'm going to be on Bangor Borough Council, which is pretty cool. I'm going to keep doing that stuff and see where it goes because of how shitty the politicians are nowadays. I feel like I could win. My wife was like, do you really think you could win? I was like, the last Senate race was Fetterman. You guys know that guy? He was kind of like, he had like a stroke, and he could barely put sentences together. Sorry for him about that, sucks. And the other guy was Dr. Oz, who was like the TV doctor. That's who went against each other. And Fetterman won, the guy who was almost brain dead. I was like, you know what? I think I could beat him right now. You know what I mean? Set it up, right? Set up the match. But so one day, maybe, right? But I'm trying to be that in my area, so at least when someone thinks of MMA or martial arts or self-defense or helping out kids or whatever, right? I want them to think of not just me, but finishers. So we already have a really good reputation, but, I want to stomp out the competition as much as possible, right? Where do I find my inspiration? Mostly for doing corny stuff. I do anything 90s, because that stuff hits, pro wrestling, hip-hop culture, right? Those are the things I kind of add in, and we'll throw in skateboarding or anything like that. When we're putting that into like how we do the social media on finishers, right? If you look at it, I'm constantly dressed up like Hulk Hogan. We're doing wrestling moves. We're putting up rap lyrics or whatever we're doing, just anything to kind of give yourselves ideas. So like, if you're, Sam, I don't know if you would want to do this, but maybe you would dress up like some kind of character. Have you ever done that before? Yeah. See, I knew it, right? Right? You might have to do that, right? I'll sell out for that kind of stuff. I don't care, right? I'll literally use anything for social media stuff. I'm using this right now as we speak. We're probably just going to, I'm not going to use my whole video. If anybody really wants to see it, that's fine. But I'll just use 10, 15-second clips, put it up, who cares? You got to figure out, I feel like, depending on what situation you're in, if you want to just be like a jiu-jitsu guy, right, you got to set yourself apart because everybody's kind of doing the same thing, right? So if you could do something a little bit different, I think that's huge. And you just got to find out where you fit in the market. Like, I retired from competing kinda-ish, even though I still compete kinda all the time. I don't know why. But I really wanted to concentrate. I do it for, to give back to the guys and like get them hyped up to compete as well, and let them know that like I'm not going to just bark in their face and tell them what to do, and I won't do it my actual self, right? And then when I go out there, I remember how scared I am. Like, holy shit, like, this is nerve-wracking. So when I go to see Renee or Thor or any of the guys compete, I'm like, hey, don't worry, I've been there. I'm trying to do that all the time. Next part, I feel like here, promoters promote. If you guys see me, I have a finisher sub only. So let me click over to that real quick. Right, this is our tournament. Everything's kind of based around finishers. Obviously, it makes it really easy to market. But finishers, when you think of jiu-jitsu and MMA, you think of the finish, fight to finish. People used to say that. Dana White used to go up there. I remember he said about Ronda Rousey, he's like, reason why people like her so much, because it's never going to a decision. She's a finisher. And I was like, God damn, that sounds good. I'm like, we need that, right? So it's kind of hard to make up a name of a gym sometimes or name of a business. Like, what should I name it? You know, and I think finisher just kind of came to me in the middle of the night one night. And before it was a tournament and an MMA school, it was actually a bar. Reason why I started the gym is I went through a pretty bad breakup. It was a long break. It was a long relationship. And I started going to Starters Bar. You guys ever worked there before? Bethlehem Starters. Not the one by the movie theater. The one on Southside Bethlehem, which was crazy. And I used to party back in the day. I've pretty much left that lifestyle. I have a family and a kid now, obviously. But it was called Starters. And I remember we used to just always take a cab, because there was no Ubers back then, back to my house where I lived in Hellertown. And my buddy one night was like, you know what? Screw Starters, let's call it Finishers Bar. So it used to be a bar first, and then somehow I moved it. But it was just my kitchen. It wasn't an actual bar. We would just get drunk there instead of paying for beers at the local bar. So, but then somehow it became a gym. Now it became a tournament. And our tournament is, for some, I don't know how it got like this, but it's become now like the East Coast, like underground thing that you kind of have to win. You don't have to become famous in jiu-jitsu, but a lot of guys feel like it's a rite of passage now. Like they kind of have to win the finisher's belt before they can move on to something else. So I feel like I don't want to, different organizations come out and they try to go against the UFC. They're like, would it be bigger than the UFC? That's stupid. They should just be the minor leagues and know where you fit in. That's what I wanted to say, but I forgot it that other spot. You got to kind of know where you fit in the grand scheme of things. Yes, I want to be a juggernaut in the area and crush all the local competition, but on a grand scale, like, are we ever going to take over some of the big gyms that have money to pay people? Probably not. But we could be pretty damn good, and our tournament is not going to have the type of budget that Who's Number One or Craig Jones Invitational has, but we could be pretty damn good, and we could put out the vibe, right, that lets people know that, hey, we're not trying to go against these ones, we're trying to help them. So now we have we have 18,000 followers, which is good. I do follow a lot of people, because back in the day, I'm going to follow everyone. That'll get our followers up, and at the very least, it'll get more engagement. Now, it is annoying sometimes when I pull it up, and there's people that have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu, but I don't even use the social media to look at that. I look at my personal ones, but the other ones, who really cares? We do have, that's me. I only have 11.8 thousand followers, but I'm literally a nobody from Bethlehem. Like I wasn't like a famous competitor or anything like that. I still threw down or whatever, but I never got to the upper echelon, which a lot of my students have. But I was still able to create a little niche for myself. And I got a dumb nickname, but now that I'm older, people call me Unc all the time, so I just call him Nephew. And that's the gym, right? We got like almost 16,000 followers, which is a lot, for just a random gym. And then that's another thing I don't want to go through yet. But the thing is, like, we do get a lot of engagement. I don't have the internet here, so you can't really see. That's Sid, one of my old guys who trains at a different gym now, but he realizes I taught him everything he knows. Right, he knows that. But we're getting a lot of traction on a lot of our stuff. You can't tell on here because it doesn't say, but we're in this area on your phone. Usually, it tells you how much engagement we have, and we're nearing in on 1 million, views, I guess, to the page. So I think it's like, what was it, 840,000 right now? So yeah, we're getting up there because I'm willing to collab with so many other people. Like, that Sid's the gym that's training at, like, I got like 40,000. This has like 800 shares or something like that. So it's not just a like. Sometimes if you look at the shares, it really tells you like what you're doing. And then you can see like the tournament's got like a vibe. These are all, by the way, these are all Quentin's photos and videos, right? We got other people write, like, nobody would write an article about us, so I started paying a guy to write articles about us. But it's kind of like how the mob did it back in the day. But so we'll just pay off the dues, tell us what they want to hear, right? So it's going really good with this. And now, instead of trying to like combat the other tournaments, we got a streaming deal with Flow Grappling after many times of me just badgering the guy, and it's worth about $50,000 a year. So I mean, that's pretty huge for us. It gives us an actual budget, and I can actually get paid for doing something I did for about 8 years for free. Most of the time we lost money when we did the tournament, but now we're actually making money. And like I said, every time I work, everybody gets to work, so that's pretty dope. Same with the gym. I'll post my family, but not that much. But I'm always trying to collab with people. Like I said, I'll never have the budget as Craig Jones, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to work for him. You know what I mean? Like if I know somebody's coming in the game that's just got way more, clout than me, or that's ready to like throw down cash, I'm not like, damn, that guy sucks. I'm like, yo, how can I get a job for this dude immediately? You know what I mean? Renee knew Craig Jones. I met him before at one of the EBIs, so I just immediately started hitting him up, and now I don't really get paid that much from it, and it's kind of a hassle, and I do have to put my entire reputation on the line, because if I judge one thing wrong, everyone's going to think I suck. So it's kind of like if you're the ref and the judge in this sport, which I kind of try to do a lot, if you mess up once, everyone thinks you're an asshole forever, but if you do good, no one even knows you're there, and that's kind of the thing. And then I got to kind of promote it on my own. This is another team thing we did, got mad likes. I just have that up there to try to show that I'm tough. And that's one thing I feel like too, guys are like, man, I don't want to seem corny. I don't want to post up and make it seem like I'm some tough guy or whatever. But at a certain point, if you're going to do what I'm doing, kind of have to do that. If you want to be, like you see these guys, you guys know any like influencers, right? You follow anybody? What's the one guy, he's a car sales guy? Andy Elliott. He's out of his mind, right? He is, right? He's crazy, right? But at a certain point, you got to talk your shit. You know what I mean? I remember, I forget, Eddie Bravo said that back in the day. He was like, bro, you got to, dude, if you want to get out there and be the man, you got to talk your shit. Like, if you're not going to do it, then someone else is gonna, and they're going to talk their way into some kind of job or some kind of thing that you probably deserve more than them. So I try to, like, when you meet me in person, when I'm training, I am self-deprecating a little bit. Like, I'll make fun of myself and all that. I think that puts people at ease. Don't think that I want to fight them or whatever it is, right? But also, too, I am going to go online and talk shit and be like, yeah, I'm doing this, or I'm a part of that, or I slept on floors or whatever. I want a belt back in the day. I'd probably share that photo a million times. Not as bad as some guys with shit, but I will. Like, I'll put up literally anything. You know what I mean? I really don't care, and I'm just trying to keep pushing the brand. And people think it's corny, but it's gotten me a lot of jobs. Like, I'm working for Craig Jones somehow. You'd be surprised. People are super disrespectful to me too. They'll be like looking at me like I'm teaching class, and this guy came in to Finishers North the other night, and he's from one of the local gyms, and the guys are asking me about it, like, when are we going out, whatever. And he's like, wait a minute, you're a coach for Craig Jones? And I was like, no, I'm not a coach, I'm a judge. He goes, you're a judge for Craig Jones? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm a freaking judge. So sometimes you gotta, like, whatever, but it doesn't bother me because I'm actually going there, and that guy's not, you know what I mean? So I'm promoting as much as possible. Like, I don't care. I'll collab with anybody like that. Obviously, there are people out there that are trying to collab with us that just I don't want any part of. So it's okay to say no to shit. Like, I'd be like no to a lot of different things. There's people trying to hit us up to train at the gym that want to bring their whole team down. I don't want any part of it. We got our own team. There's people trying to sell shit through me all the time. That's another big one. Like, yo, I'm selling this thing, and they're constantly collabing with the gym. And I'm like, bro, we need some type of deal first before, because you know, unfortunately, like, if it's someone who comes to the gym, it's their business, I'll promote it all day, send it through. I'm gonna help you out because you're helping me out, right? But random guys, you don't even train at the gym, dude, kick rocks. I can't put you on. We got to come up with some kind of deal, because at the end of the day, what are they doing for me? Like, what are they giving me? Like, what I'm giving to Craig Jones is I'm going to work hard and I'm going to promote the shit out. He knows, he remembered me, he knows me obviously, but he probably looked at it, he's like, all right, if I'm going to pick a 10th Planet guy, and we'll get this guy. Like, give it to him, he's going to post shit online. I've had students lost big opportunities, like hundreds of thousands of dollar opportunities to be on certain shows because they don't put out social media. I almost had Grace, before she actually retired from competing, on one championships where they would have gave her a contract for $150,000 sign-on deal, $50,000 bonuses. Tom DeBlas said they won't put her on because she doesn't post on social media. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And that was part of it. They just wanted to see her engage. they're like, nah, we'll pass on her, even though she was the best. So companies are willing to pass on the best person available for the job just because you post shit on social media. So that does piss me off, but I mean, it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do, and I got to keep moving, right? The biggest sponsor, you know, we work with A&A Limbo, one of our guys that trains with us, working with a mental coach, Brazilian Cheese Bites. We just got that going now. Puffco, which is a weed smoking company that you smoke dabs out of these machines. They're pretty sick. They gave us like $3,000 worth of shit. LVHN is probably our biggest, not probably, it is our biggest connection so far, which is Lehigh Valley Health Network. And I can't even explain how huge it is for us. They're literally giving us money as a stipend to use for whatever we want. They're like, yeah, you could just buy merch with it, fix up the gym. If you want to, you know, put it back into, you know, the tournament or whatever, that's huge. Marketing materials. So I don't even know exactly how I got connected with it. I just kept thinking about there's got to be a way, because St. Luke's is right down by the gym, and I get off the exit there at 33 and I drive by and be like, damn it, there's got to be a way. There's probably, how many doctors are over at St. Luke's? Hundreds, thousands? How many, you know, patients probably not going to train, but a lot of employees, right? So and then they had an athletic area over there too, and I'd be like, man, the other thing is, and I think like this too, doctors got dough. They're not going to be like, you know, one of our broke MMA guys that are like, yo, can I mop the floors or whatever, and I could go for free? Sure, you know what I mean? But those guys are just going to come in, pay, train twice a week, and those are honestly our best customers, people who actually have the money, that are professionals, that are going to pay. They never give us a problem. It's always the guys who don't pay that are doing something stupid or getting in a fight or not wearing the correct gear or whatever, right? But not that that's the only people we want, but it does make it easy because they're great students. They're people that are just going to be repeat business. And I can even remember a lot of guys like that during COVID when I was like, hey, I got to shut everybody's payments down. And they were like, actually, you know what? I want to pay for a year right now. And I was blown away by the amount of support that we had by people who had money, yes, but they really loved training and they didn't want to see it go away, right? So LVHN has already brought us people. I was already over at one of their conferences teaching. It was a really cool opportunity for me to go over there and work with one of, he's a athletic trainer. I think he works at Chris. He works at, he's a PT? Yeah, and he works at the LVHN, which is right across from 10th Planet Allentown. So all my other gyms, always I'm the guy out doing this, but I know I'm the man for the job. I'm making these kind of deals. But now all of my gyms, they're not all, I don't own them all, but Allentown, Reading, North, all the gyms are going to benefit from that because there's LVHNs literally everywhere, you know. So we did strike a deal with St. Luke's too. We just give everybody 25% off. But I actually got to go over to LVHN and teach the athletic trainers on injuries. Like I just got to put Chris in armbar, choke. Hey, what would happen if the guy's elbow broke like this and his arm would pop out? And the people really got a kick out of it, and they got a lot of practice of working on injuries and how they would try to nurse that guy back to training at the gym. So I thought that was really cool. And they're investing money in us, so now we have opportunity too for all the students that get ringworm, staph infection, have some type of injury. They could always go and check with them, and not to mention they can also come. They also send out a trainer to our tournaments, which before we were kind of riding solo. Where if someone got hurt, we would walk out and be like, "Your ankle's broken. The hospital's down there," and we would just carry them to the car and we'd drop them off, and then they would be on their own. Obviously, we have insurance, but we didn't have someone there in case someone had, God forbid, broke their neck or had a heart attack or something crazy like that. So it's super huge for us to have someone there.
Question.
Yo, fire. Someone had a question?
Is there stuff they want you to do for the hospital?
Yeah, they want us to put stuff on their web. Like we put a link on our website. They're gonna pay, and they're paying for all this. Banners, everything. They want a little section, kind of where we have the T-shirts and stuff, there to just you know, have branding, so that way when you come in, you see it. They also have deals with Grit Mat Club and a bunch of other wrestling, like local wrestling places too. So they pretty much just want us working with them nonstop, and this is part of their budget for community outreach. So they figure, hey, how can we get in front of a bunch of people? And they realize through all of our schools, we probably have around 500 to 600 students, you know, and that branches out the more you go. So Any other questions on any of that stuff? And then this will be the last bit. This isn't very much. Any questions, anything? Nobody? All right, so actual implementation for like when I'm posting and shit like that. Let me see, what is it, Quentin? Command and... Okay, pause. All right, well that's not getting any closer, but I'll send, if anyone wants to see this, I'll send this to you, but there's two pretty much ways to post high-level videos and pictures like Quentin does, just your regular iPhone. If you just post with your iPhone, that's fine. Remember I said, Instagram definitely gives more credit to if you edit it within Instagram. It's kind of annoying. I got fat fingers. I'm constantly messing it up and I get pissed off. But I'll just save it as a draft and go back. They always say post twice a day. I've heard Santi people told you post 3 times a day, more than that even. I figure in the morning, it's probably on there somewhere. I'll post at like 9 to 11 a.m. and I'm with my son all day, so I don't want to just be on my phone all day. You know, they asked my son where I work and they said on my phone. I was like, damn, right? I didn't want him to think that, but I am on my phone a lot, I'm not gonna lie, but when we go, I do take him to the dojo all the time, but he doesn't think that's work. He just thinks we're joking around. I post, so I'll try to get one in between 9 and 11 for myself, the gym, and I collab the 2 gym things together, and the tournament when we have something coming up. Tournament, I can put that on the back burner as much. It's kind of cooking now, so I want to post there, make sure I get at least 2 up a day. I do have a social media marketing flyer guy now that we pay about $500 a month from the gym, and we pay him about $500 a month from the Instagram. And that's just to help us. Anytime I need a flyer, boom, he makes it within seconds. I don't even know how I met the guy, to be honest with you. He's originally from Sri Lanka. His name's Ashan. And now he lives in, where is he actually? Malta, I think. You know, so he's all over the place over there, and he's from another country. And it is what it is. They work way harder on shit like this than people in America. I've had dudes that I like have to pay him $50 and it's a week to get a flyer. Right? I send this guy at night 5 different flyers. In the morning, they'll be all in my email ready to proofread. He got his brother doing videos now. I know he gives us a little bit of a discount because I've known him for so long, but I've turned so many people on to him, it's ridiculous. So he's doing a lot for me, so I definitely have help. But people are like, how does he do it? Right? There's a lot of people help me. Quentin will post stuff. Renee will post stuff when I'm not at the gym, if I'm at the other gym or whatever, so that really helps me. People are like, oh, like you don't want to post it and just be looking at it and be like, did it get any likes? Who gives a shit? Just keep posting. Set it and forget it, right? Or the post and ghost. You know, like just post that shit, go about your day, come back in an hour or 2 and just go on there and be like, engage in the comments, because I know that helps too. If people are writing something and you're commenting back to them, that's like building your little community. Even though like I know guys that have 60,000 followers on their personal Instagram, but they post stuff up and I look at it, it gets no views, nobody comments on it, no one cares. Somehow that guy got famous or he paid for followers. I'm actually interacting with the people. I can tell because when we sell something like a shirt or something that's cool, people are actually buying it and commenting on the post. I'll always go on other professionals' posts, even if I know they're not going to talk back to me. I'll just post on their shit. A lot of times I'll see guys that are famous posting on other people's famous people stuff, just either funny one-liners, comments. Like, you know, I'd be going on that guy Andy Elliott's thing and just talking shit to him. You know what I mean? Or whatever, you know, because you never know who's going to read it. And I've gotten a lot of people to, you know, either engage with me or come back, so I'm always looking at other professionals. What works now is like reels that are really short, right? You don't want to put up long ass shit because a lot of times people just don't have the attention span. Everybody's going like this, right? 15 seconds, someone getting knocked out, someone getting submitted, someone getting slammed real hard, right? Like real quick clips are what works the best. Carousel post, obviously a lot of you guys already do that. You can post a whole bunch in a row of pictures or like random things. That really seems to be working. If you have links that people want to look at, put them in your stories. Like I don't think I said this. I try to get one in and not between 9 and 11, and then sometimes at night after training I'm just way too tired. Between 7 and 10, if I can rip it, I'll throw that up. I said this earlier, skits hit harder, but you still got to show why you're a professional. So I still will put up techniques, make myself look tough, old fights, like I said. Anything. For me, it's techniques, interviews, do a podcast, throwbacks. Here's me as a kid, whatever. Here's me as dressed up as Hulk Hogan. Competitions, class, events like this. I try to include everybody at the gym. As weird as it sounds, but I want to make sure everybody's represented. I want to have white people, black people, Puerto Ricans. Like you go in our gym, you go on the front mat, you'll hear Bad Bunny, and it's mostly white guys and black guys, right? For whatever reason. You go on the back mat, it's all people of Spanish descent, and they're listening to like Metallica and Ozzy Osbourne. I'm like, what is going on here? But I want us people, women, kids, everybody. You know what I mean? The more people we have representation at the gym, people will look at that and be like, oh, if women go there, cool. Those guys aren't a bunch of weirdos. Oh, kids go there, it's fine, right? And that's why I've had to become more professional. I've had to ban things like, guys always want to take their shirts off because it's hot. Dude, I do that too. Get on me about it. But you can't train with no shirt, right? It's unprofessional. Can't smoke weed directly outside the gym while kids' class is going on. Dude, fucking take a walk or something like that, right? Edibles, guys, edibles. Right? So that kind of stuff. Create a channel. A lot of guys, like you could do, if you have Instagram, you just have people, professional channel, whatever. I just have a technique group that I made, and I tell the guys, you can see me busting guys' balls in there. Stop. I don't want any memes in there. I'm in 10,000 meme groups. I just want real discussions about techniques and tournaments and shit we're working on. I can only teach so many classes, and I honestly don't tell some of the guys, but I want to fade away from kids' class. I don't want to teach fundamentals as much anymore. I want to do 2 advanced classes a week, and then I want to work specifically with people and put someone in UFC or put someone back at a #1 slot in grappling while I'm still able to do it, right? While I'm still engaged in the coaching situation. But I know I can't do that. If I'm a slave to the business, I can teach every single class. That's why it's important that the more students we get, the more people we can have, right? So the way I can get in front of the most people, social media, or just having a group where I can just message everybody at once and we're all on the same page. Here's what I taught a class, I posted in the group, and it's kind of private because it's like a secret thing that not everybody's in. Like, yo, get me in the group. And if I look at the group, there's like 10 or 15 people trying to get in, but they don't even train at any of my gyms, and they're not one of my black belts. So once again, kick rocks, you know what I mean? Join the gym and I'll throw you in. If not, sorry dog, can't do it. Right? It's gonna be a no from me. And that's the last thing I'll say. And then, like I said, I'll open up the questions. But I feel like some of the best brands, whether it be like Fuck Clothing brand or any of these other things that we follow, it's like a secret club that you want in. But unlike politics, you can actually get in it, right? If you put in the work, right? If you do it, you can get in that club, right? If that's something you want to be a part of, you can definitely do it. I'm almost in politics now. I don't know how I did it, but I just kept pushing myself forward, and eventually you break through that barrier, and now you're in the club, right? So it's pretty much as easy as that, right? But it takes time. Anything good takes time. So that's pretty much all I got. If anyone wants to ask any questions, fire away. Sorry if I was rambling, but trying to get all that in so it didn't take too much of this.